you tweet 3 or 4 tweets a day of the same thing.
Yes. No, not a day. 32 hours.
32 hours.
It's very scheduled.
Very scheduled.
Nothing left to chance.
Nothing's left to chance.
Yep.
And you reach all time zones with your tweets.
Now, what I'm trying to get at is specifically to have at least one tweet in Pacific time zone, 5 p.m. to 9 or 10 p.m.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not disciplined enough, and neither are my contributors, to plan it out that way. And I also don't want all my tweets in that time zone.
Mm-hmm.
So we basically tweet whenever the hell we want, and figure that if you tweet, no matter what time you start, if it repeats every 8 hours, at some point it's going to hit that Pacific time zone, which is all we want. I take a lot of grief for repeating my tweets, because there are some Twitter fascists who believe that Twitter is strictly a social networking platform, and it's only for letting your friends know that the cat rolled over or the tuna sandwich is here. And I, to put it mildly, don't agree with that. I use Twitter as a marketing weapon, and as a marketing weapon, I need to ensure that as many people see my tweets as possible. And so I've actually tracked it. I use a service. I use 2 different services, but one of them is Objective Marketer, and it provides a different link for each tweet.
Right.
So I can have the same text of the tweet, but a different link. And once you have a different link, it means you can track how many clicks went to that link. So I'll tell you that my first tweet gets 600 click-throughs, my second one gets 500, my third one gets 500, and my fourth one gets 500. So over 4 tweets, I get 2,000 to 2,500 clicks. If I only did one, guess how many I would get? 500. So I get 1/4. So, I mean, it's kind of a duhism to me. You can either get 500 clicks or 2,000. Let's see, do the math here, guy. Which one would you rather do? And, you know, the Twitter newbie who decides to follow me is in for a rude awakening, because if they're following 25 people and I'm one of them, I'm going to swamp their timeline, right? Because all told, all told, from the outside looking at my account, you think I've tweeted 80 times a day. And if you're following 25 people, of which 15 are pseudo porn stars, so really you're following like 10 human beings. And if I'm one of them, it's going to look like the Guy Kawasaki show. So these newbies, this really cracks me up. These newbies, they like write these public tweets like, I am unfollowing you, you dominate my timeline. And, you know, to me, there's a soft spot in my heart for them as newbies, but sometimes you should just shut up if you don't know what you're doing. Do you have a shopping channel here in the UK?
Yeah, we have QVC.
You have QVC, okay. Another great American export. Okay, so the analogy is, you go to a TV store, and you buy a high-definition TV, and you take it home, but you don't subscribe to satellite or cable. So you only can get 3 stations off the air. So I don't know, you get ABC, I don't know, whatever. What are your, I don't even know your network.
BBC 1,
okay.
BBC 2, ITV,
okay.
Channel 4, Channel 5.
Okay, so let's say you get only BBC, Channel 4, and QVC, just because of where you live. So you turn your TV on, and 1 out of 3 times it's QVC. And on QVC, there's somebody selling the green tourmaline necklace with the sterling silver matching bracelet. The next time, it's like some kind of food processor. And the third time, it's, you know, this velvet-colored toilet cleaner or something. Well, I don't know, whatever QVC sells. And so, what's your equivalent of the FTC here, or the Communications Government Regulation Body?
That would be the Advertising Standards Agency.
Okay, so you call them up and you say, I am really upset. I turn my TV on, and all the time I see QVC, and they're shoving tourmaline necklaces at me, and they're shoving, I don't know, new handheld vibrators, I don't know. And so you get all bent out of shape, and you know what? The answer is, turn the channel. And if you don't get enough channels, subscribe to more channels. Go get cable, right? Which is so when people tell me that I'm following 25 people, you're one of them, and you dominate my timeline, either don't follow me, or follow more people. But I don't know, you know, I mean, if you turn your TV on, it's always CNN, and CNN is repeating the story. How are you going to complain to CNN? I don't know. Let's not go down that rat hole, but anyway.
That bit's going on my blog.
You would be surprised how many people attack me on Twitter.
I've got to admit, I was asked to ask you about the Twitter because they felt, some of the women in the group felt that you did come across as a bit spammy, but I'd also read...
How is it spam? It's voluntary.
I'd also read that you talk about the news stream, and the news stream repeats the news at intervals, so the news reaches everybody. So I understood totally why you did it. And I've also got to say, I've started doing similar myself. I don't know how many of my
you got more traffic, right?
I've got next week. But on Birds of the Blog, we make a point of tweeting out the posts 1 hour every hour, just so that people can see what we're talking about.
You add new content every hour?
No.
Oh.
I'm not Ariana Huffington.
Yeah.
Not yet, anyway.
Yeah.
Next
so
year.
how do you? So some of these are repeats.
Yeah.
And do you get complaints?
No complaints at all.
I rest my case. I mean, and arguably you're doing your readers a service because, you know, otherwise they'd have to find the good stuff by scrolling backwards. And who does that? I mean, there's too much stuff happening on Twitter. And, you know, the other thing is, to use an analogy, I mean, who TiVos CNN?
Nobody.
Right? Right? So, like, do you TiVo CNN and you say it's 5 o'clock p.m., I'm going to go see what CNN had on at 8 a.m. So let me just go to my TiVo or my PVR and look at what CNN had, because I don't want to miss anything, because CNN doesn't repeat anything, right? If CNN ran a story once at 8 a.m. and you watch CNN at 5 p.m., you say, oh, I got to go TiVo. I got to go to my TiVo and look at what CNN ran at 8. Now, who TiVos CNN? Nobody. Why is that? Because CNN, you turn it on and you watch whatever is there. That's how they should approach my Twitter feed. I don't know. It sounds simple to me. The people who complain that I spam, that's an interesting thing. I think spam, almost by definition, is not possible on Twitter because it's all voluntary. And the other thing is, do you have any like NPR-like entities that every once in a while runs a telethon for fundraising? Mm-hmm. You have that here?
Yeah, we have that. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so here's my logic. Well, what's this thing called here?
We have, they tend to be specific shows, don't they? Like comic relief, don't they?
So you're talking about
TV.
charity shows?
I don't watch TV. I watch everything on DVD. I wait through.
Are you talking about fundraisers?
Yeah.
Yeah. So they tend to be around a theme like sports aid and comic relief. There's not a channel specifically for
fundraisers for a relief thing. It's fundraisers for the organization. So in America, public television, NPR, the radio stations, like KQED is.
Like the BBC.
Okay. But does the BBC ever say, okay, you know, during this 1 week we're taking pledges for donations to the BBC? Okay.
Not to the BBC.
Not to the BBC themselves, but to specific
stations.
funds and projects.
But no, again, this is, in America, NPR runs a 1 week telethon where you're donating money to NPR because NPR doesn't have advertising.
Right.
But it's not funded by licenses, and BBC is funded by license in the UK.
No, okay. Okay, so in America, there's public radio. Public radio, every so often, they run a telethon, and they have people call in, and you donate money to NPR so that NPR can continue to run. Okay. So the way it works is NPR puts on such good content that I believe they have earned the right to every once in a while run this thing where they're just asking for money and promoting, okay? That's the same logic that I have with Twitter. So I think between me and my 22 contributors, we're always looking for good content. And so that earns us the right to every once in a while run a telethon. In this case, I'm in the midst of a telethon for this new book. So you'll see tons of tweets telling people to buy Enchantment. But that's the business model, right? So all year long, we're finding interesting stuff for people at no charge, right? And so now a guy comes out with a book. Here we go, baby. We earned it. So that's the logic. But not everybody, it's amazing.